So up to now we have discussed inputs and output in C and variables, how to store data we take from inputs, and then how to do some operations. We have discussed several operations or operators in we found in C. Okay, so we will take an example now. So for example, so we input some marks of a student. Okay, so he or she has taken 75, 80, 90, 67, 85 and say 61. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subjects and we can get the input. So we know how to get the input of 6 numbers, and now we can do some processing. We can save them, and then we can calculate some processing. So we can calculate sum or total and the average, and we can print them. So we can do we can write a program like this from the things we learned up to now. So what if we want to say if the student is passed or fail in the exam. So to pass the exam, so we need to have pass the exam, we need to have average greater than 50. And if the average is less than or say equal to 50, if the average is less than 50, if the student fails. So how do you do such a thing? So up to now we cannot do things like that. So to do these things like that, we have to make a decision, okay, on this variable. So how do you do that? So we have some statements, we call them control statements. In programming. So in these control statements, we can control our flow. Usually, we can take decisions, we can repeat instructions, so we can do such things in control statement. So for here, we have to use conditions because we have to check the variable average. Okay, so we can now using our conditional operators, we can check average is greater than or equals to say 50, true or false. We can if you use a conditional operators say so actual operator will look like this. It will return true or false. Actually it is true means 1, false means 0 in C. So we can do that, but the thing is we have to take a decision regarding in this. So what the decision is, so if the average is greater than or equal to 50, okay, we'll see, we have to print, okay, pass, and if it is not true, if true, so we can say if so I'll write like this. If is true, then print pass. If not true, or if average is less than 50, print fail. So we have to do something like that. Okay, so we can do this in C using if statement. So we have a statement called if. So we'll check the syntax or the how it should be, the format of this operator. So we have if, simple if, and then we have to use a conditional statement. Conditional statement. So we know how to write a conditional statement. So it will contain conditional operators and or with logical operators to combine this conditional operator. So we saw how to do this. So this will return true or false, 1 or 0. So there can be two status or two condition, two scenarios of this condition. So if it can be true or false. So if it is true, if the condition is true, so we will, if only the condition is true, if only condition is true, we will execute this part. So otherwise, if it is false, we will not execute this part. So we will see now how to do this in actual programming. So now we will create a variable and assign a value, and we will check whether that we will use a condition, if condition, to check that variable is say greater than 50 or not. Okay, so we have a variable called a, and we will print enter a number. Okay, and now we will scanf this number to an integer. So we are going only using integer here, and so we have to give the address of the storing place. So we are going to use %, the address operator on A, and we can get the address of A using %A. So now it will be stored in the variable A. So now we have to use our condition. If A, we are using a conditional operator. So if is greater than or equal to 50, so we will print pass the module, a new line, pass the module. So we'll compile this now. GCC condition 1 minus o output, so 1 maybe, Okay, compile and 1, enter a number, say 23, nothing happened. 67, okay, pass the module. So now we know we can use the if condition to check a number is, something is true. So what is, so we had this, so if we have a number which is greater than 50, it will print something, but what we won't do is if it fails, that means if it is not true, we have to do something else. So here you have to do, you have to print fail the module, but we are not doing it because we are only having true part only. So how do you do this now? So if we have a condition, okay, so if we have a if statement and condition, if it is true, we come here, and if it is fails, it doesn't come here, but you can have another part in this statement. You can add another part to this statement. If it is false, so we check this condition. If it is true, it will come here, and if this condition is fails, earlier we didn't do anything because it will not come inside this if condition if it is fails, but now we add another part to this if condition. So if it is true, it's come here, and if it is false, it will come here. So we can check both. We can do things. We can check a condition, and if earlier we did what we did was we only did something when it is true, but now we can do is we can do something when it is true as well as when it is false. So now we will see how to do this. So it's very simple. So what we can do is we add the else condition, else part to this statement. So if statement, so this is the if statement start, and this is the condition. So if it is true, it will come to this part, and if it is false, it will come to this part. So we will add fail the module. Okay. So now we will compile this again. So there's a problem, and it says I'm using print instead of printf. Now it's fine. Okay, enter a number 56, pass the module, enter a number 34, fail the module. So now we will say 50, the marginal case, and it says it's passed the module because we use the condition greater than or equal. So if it is equal to 50, the condition is true. So it will go to the true part of the if condition, and if it is false, it will go to the false part of the condition. So now we will check how to combine several conditional statements using our logical operators in this if condition. So now what we want to do is, I want to say, I want to print, so combining, so what we will do is combining conditional operators. So we have done this in earlier example. So what we want to do is, so we have a variable a. So what we want to do is, the variable, if the variable is less than 75 and greater than 50, we have to print say pass. Okay. So we will see how to do this. So you can see now. So we have two conditions in this statement. So we have two conditions. So we will say greater than or equal. So we have two conditions means so A should be less than this one, and it's all at the same time it should be greater than 50. So how do you do this? So we have two conditions. So we will first write the conditions. So A should be less than 75 is the first condition. So we have to write in the other way. We cannot write like this. So and then the other one, the variable A is greater than or equal 50. So what is the situations here? So this one can be true or false, and this one also can be true or false. So to this whole expression to become true, what should happen is these two conditions should be true at the same time. So if this is true and this is true, this should be true, otherwise false. So how can you do this? So we have seen, we know we have AND operator, O operator, and not operator. Okay. So to do this, so this kind of truth table happens in AND. So in AND, both condition is true, it is true, otherwise it is false. All three other conditions it's false. So we have to combine these two conditions using AND operator. Using AND operator. So we have to use this AND operator here because our condition is, our requirement is we need both to be true to be the whole statement becomes true. Otherwise it should be false. So the suitable statement, suitable logical operator will be AND. So we will see how we can do this in C. So we will have the same program and we will edit this now. So we enter a number and store it in variable A. So now we want to combine these two. So we have if condition. So in our if condition, we will have two conditions. So we can use parentheses for each condition if you like. So sometimes if you do this, it becomes easier to read. The readability will be increased because sometimes the others also start reading your program. So you can adapt a different standard. So I will use parentheses to separate or highlight the different conditions. So the first one is A should be less than 75. The other condition is A should be greater than or equal to 50. And we have to combine these two using AND operator. So now, A is, if this goes to this true part, that means if the whole condition, this whole condition is true. That means both conditions, to become whole condition true, if you are using AND operator, the both conditions should be true. If the both conditions are true, A is between 75 and 50, including 50. Okay, so now printf pass the module. Okay, so we will have a new line, and as well as we need a end of statement symbol. And now we go to here and we compile and run. So enter a number. So we will enter a number, say 55. So it says pass the module 50. Still pass the module 75. It doesn't do anything because it doesn't go into the if condition, because the first condition becomes false now. The second condition is true, but still the both conditions should be true to become the whole expression true. So we can check number less than 45, and now you can see it doesn't happen anything. Okay, when it is less than. So in the previous example, we checked multiple conditions of one variable at the same time. So now we need multiple scenarios, or multiple cases of those conditions. So we will take the same example. So our variable a. So if a is greater than or equal to 75, we say we will give some grades. So it's a. And say a is less than 75 and say greater than 60, say we will see we get a b and equal to 60. And if a is less than 60 and greater than say 50, we have a c. And if a is less than 50, we have an f. So now you can see, so earlier in the first time we check one condition and then we check a condition, a combined condition. So we have to have two conditions. So now we are going to have multiple those cases like that. So we can do this in different ways, but we can use multiple if conditions. So we will see how to do this. So the first is if. So we have a condition a is greater or equal to 75. Okay, and then we press a. And else. So what happened in else? So we have a number line now. So we have 75 here. So it's in the other way. So we have 75 here. And if it is greater than this, so we have an a. So now we have 65 and 50, the other condition. So if we are here, so we should be print b, and if we are here, we should print c, and if we are here, not equal, so if we are here, we print f. So you can see now, so this one is a and all the other are not a. So that means it should go to the else part. Okay. So now you can see we go to the else part. So in the else part, so this is true for the first condition. Okay. And this is false for the first condition. So now in the false condition, we have to check again for this, because the false condition has three cases, and now we want to check the this condition. So we can do this in two ways. One is we can use else if condition, or the other one is we can use nested if condition. So we will first use nested if condition. So now you can see now we are in this condition. Now here you can use an if condition. If a is, say, so we have two conditions. A is less, greater than or equal 65, and a is less than 75. We can print, say, print f b, and here print f a. Okay, so now So we are in this condition, and now we had another if condition here. So now in this if condition, the second if condition, so we are inside false, and second if condition, if it is true we are here and we print B, and if it is false we have two conditions. One is this F and C. So in the else condition, if it is not true, we will come into this part. So now again we have to check for another if condition. We have to separate two conditions. So now if A is greater than or equals to 50 and A is less than 65. Okay, so in the else condition we have two. One is greater than or sorry, we are here. One is, so this is 50, and one is greater than or equal to 50. So if this is true, we will come into this. So print F C. Okay, else we will be here. So else part, if false, that means we are in F. So we can do print F. And you must remember to close all the parentheses. So you have to match these. So if you open the parenthesis, you have to close it at the proper place. So now we will see how to do this in C. So we will go into our program and we will write it again. So we enter a number, and now we have to have, so if A is greater than, or this is the first condition we are checking, 75. So we print F. A else. So this else condition has now can contain either. So if you get a score less than 75, you can either be fail, C or B. So we have to check one by one. So another if condition inside the false part, because we have three, we have to separate three things. So now actually now if we are using a condition like this, so we don't want to actually check this conditions, because we know that A is less than 75. So in the nested if condition, so we have to we don't want to check. So we don't want to check. So if it is a not nested one, so something like this. So we can, so earlier I have made a mistake in my explanation. So we can do, so if we want to use something like this, A is less than 75, and so I will use parenthesis, and A is greater than or equal to 65. So here we can print F B, and then we can do the similar thing if A is greater than or equal, say 50, and A is less than 65. What we will do is we have to do the printf C and then we have to use another if condition. So for if condition, because we have 4 cases, if a is less than 50, printf f. Okay, so this is our program. So this will work. So the okay, so you have 4. We have to check 4 if conditions. Actually, we have to check. So here we have to check 1 condition. Here we have to check 2. Okay, so this one, and then combine and check 3. Actually 3, and here 3, 3, 3, 1, 8 conditions we have to check. Okay, 8 conditional operators are there. So then, so if we run this one, it will work as we wanted. So enter a number, say 34. So I think we did not save this. Okay, so there's an error. So this should be less than 50. Okay, because that is why it didn't print anything. So you can make those kind of logical errors in your program. So now 34, so it's an F. If you print 56, it's a C. If you print 67, it's an. Okay, there's a problem with this one now. So we will check if A is should be less than, not greater than, it should be less than 75. So you have to be very careful with these conditions. So 67, B, and 80, A. So now it works, but we can do this with nested if condition. So how do you do this? So we discussed earlier. So I made a small mistake there. So if A is greater than 75, you will print an A, and else, in the else condition, you will have all other conditions. So now here, so I will copy this one here. So you have to, so if you open this here and you have to close it here. So now you don't want to check this one here if A is less than 75, because when you come to else condition, A is always less than 75, because this is, if it is greater than or equal to 75, it will go here. And so you don't want to, in this condition, you can remove one conditional, actually 2 conditional and logical operators, 2 operators. So now, and again, so if it is now B and else condition here, so what will happen? So it is less than 75, you know, because you come to else condition of this statement, and then you check whether it is greater than or equal to 65, and you print a B, and else means it is less than 75 and it is less than 65 as well. So now you can check, so you can use this one. So I will copy this one, because the conditions are same, and you have to align it nicely. Okay, so now you don't want to check this condition, because you know that if you come to else condition, you come to this part. Okay, so now you can use one condition here. So now you print C here, and then instead of if again, you can do it in else condition. So else means, so it is less than 75 because you come to this else, and if it is, you check again inside nested if statement. And so now if you come here, it means less than 65 and less than 75, and then you check here and it is less than all the numbers. So you here you can print it's an F. So now you can see we have greatly reduced the number of if statement here. So not this. So we have one check here, 2 and 3. Only 3 checks are there in this code. So we will see. We will run this, compile it, run this, and we will put 80 A, and we will put 70 B, and we will put 60 C, and we will put say 40, and it's an F. So it's working in the same way as we want. So now we can do the same thing because we are checking the same operator, same variable. So instead of nested if statement, so is greater than or equal to 75, and we can come to else, and we did the nested if statement here. Instead of doing that, we can use if statement here. Okay, is greater than or equal to 65. Okay, and else if condition we can take it out here because we are checking the nested statements can be taken out like this because we don't we have only if conditions here, and then we can say is greater than or equal to 50. We can do here, and else we can do here. So here it will be A, because if it is A is greater than 75, else that means it can be A, B, C, D, E, B, C, F, and so then in the else condition, without using the nested if condition, we can have the if condition here, else if. Okay, else means it's not true, and in not true, the false part, we check the condition here, else if A is greater than 65, so this will be B, because it is if it is greater than 65, we check it, 75 will be here, and if not greater than 75, we will come into this part, otherwise it will directly exit from this place. And then we check in the false part, if it is false, if both are false, we will come here, and if both are false, then again we check for C. So we will print C, and here F. So it's the same thing, and doing it differently. So the advantages of these kind of statements are, if this is false, okay, so if this is true, we don't want to check anything because we don't want to go else part, then directly it will exit from this kind of loops. Similarly, nested statement will be the same, but if you have separate if statements like earlier, if you have separate if statements as the first example, even though this is true, we will be checking the other statements as well. So now we will change this to the other format, if else format. So instead of having the nested if condition, we can use if condition here, else if. So now so we have if A is if A is greater than 75, we will do this, else if A is greater than 65, that means between 75 and 65 we will print B. And here also we have one nested if condition. We can, since we don't have any other statement in between, we can get this up here, and then we have the else condition of this. So we can, these all statements are in the same level, so we can put them in the same indentation. Okay. So now we don't need these two parentheses. So we will check again whether we are doing it right. So we have A is greater than 65. We have if condition. If it is true, it will be here. Else and if. So in the else condition, we check another condition here. And if it is true, we will go here. If both are false, we will come here to this else. And we check again another condition. And then if it is true, we go here. And else means if all these are false, and we will come here and it will print F. So we will see now it's very neat and less number of codes. So clear it, compile, run, and say 85, 87, A, 67, B, 57, C, and 47, F. So our program is working. So now you know how to use if conditions to write or process our program when we have some conditions. So you can do some examples on this and learn more about these conditions. So we will use these conditions in the coming lectures when we are writing other programs.